a sense of community when you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Nancy Guitar, just in case you didn't know that. What do you know about the history of Canadian rock? I have to admit, I know very little. I grew up listening to American Bandstand, although I used to go to a show called La Jeunesse d'Aujourd'hui. So that was French Canadian performers, but Canadian rock, not too much. Did you know that there's a Facebook page about that? Here to talk about it is my guest, Brian Fogel. Welcome to the show, Brian. So
hello, how's BC?
BC, oh, it's a nice sunny day at the moment, so it started off really cool, but it's getting better. So
Good.
Hope it's nice where you are.
Beautiful day. Yes,
very
nice.
So tell me about this page that obviously.
Okay, so it was my idea. It was I think about maybe 2010. When was it created? No, it would have been 2013. Doesn't matter. So basically it goes back to like the 60s, the 50s, like Paul Anka.
Right.
Okay. It's mainly focused around flood bands from out west. So it's interesting because it's just how they started and how they were influenced. But American radio,
right?
The border cities. So, and then there's it's just filled with all types of information. Recording studios, Bob Ezrin, Alice Cooper, recording. It just has everything in it. Most of these bands, Mushroom Castle. So it just goes right back to the late 60s, I would say, when these bands were introduced.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so much there.
So what motivated you to set that up?
I think it's important. We know our history being Canadian, and I think it's important to know how this all began, where, the poppers. I mean, I could, but yeah, so it showcases everything from passing. It covered. It's a huge gamut. I mean, there's some bands in there that had okay success in the 70s. Example, remember that Alice Cooper show at the Ontario place, the Riots. Band called Zon. Yes, I still collect albums.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay, so it's an encyclopedia, like the interest. So Kim Hunt and I can't remember their names. It's not on here, but yeah. So they had success, but it was just Canadian. A lot of Canadian bands had great success. Celine Dion, Rush covers everything. Let me go to the page and check it out. It's very interesting.
Right.
Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Do you remember? I'm going to say, do you remember this? But FM, Nash and Slash. Okay, so it's just it goes really. I dug deep. So, Heart, confusing, the border thing, Anna and Nancy, so what are they, Canadian? Are they Canadian or American? So you'd have to read,
Right.
Yeah, but no, it's an info I'm a, you know, information, like I have to find out, right? I just want to know things I'm interested in.
Yeah. If you think about the 60s, and we were bombarded with the American musicians, the Beatles, people, things like that. So I mean, obviously there were Canadian performers, Canadian bands, but we were so bombarded by the other, you know, that it was hard for a lot of people to be aware, a lot of Canadians to be aware of the Canadian performers, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting to somebody that, you know, Canada, I mean, north of the USA, you know, here's our history. It's important to, you know, music gourmetizers and people that are just, you know, it's interesting because it covers everything, basically everything, like the history of Steppenwolf and, you know, bands like oh God, you know, um Bryan Adams played in Sweeney Todd. He was the lead singer, and the picture of him with really long hair. You know, it's just, you know, it's very cool. You'd have to check it out. And I don't know. I mean, like, it's not for a lot of people like so.
But anybody who are interested in music or in Canadiana, there is an audience for that, obviously.
Yeah, it's a great pick. Like, we posted something about Honeymoon Suite, and it just boom.
Very
it just
good.
like it exploded at Darby Mills. She was in a band called Headpins. Oh, your way. The Headpins. It just covers like almost everything. I just, you know, Max Webster, Kim Mitchell. They're my favorite Canadian band, Max Webster. So Kim, if you're watching this video right now.
Are you a performer as well?
Yeah. I'm a drummer. I've been playing for about 45 years.
Right.
Yeah. And tour, you know, do everything, record everything, whatever's, you know, I get hired for, touring drummer, everything, fill-in drummer for other bands, my own bands.
What's your own band? Mention your
so much. Steel Kitty.
Steel Witch?
Kitty.
Okay.
Okay, so STEAL, Steel Kitty. So it's a play on words. Steel City is Hamilton.
Oh, yes. Okay. I lived in Burlington, so
marketing is important, right? So our logo is a cat, right? Everything is just like is cat related.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
It is, yeah. We do. It's cover band. A lot of fun. We go in there and have fun. That's it.
Yeah. And is it rock music that
it's okay? It covers everything from 70s punk, Iggy Pop. Do like Lou Reed, Velvet Underground. We do about 67 covers of the Stooges. And then we get into the 80s and we do a few 80s heavy metal songs. And then we go into the 90s and we do like sort of, remember the grunge era? We do like, you know, a few you know, a few songs from that era, Alice in Chains and Stone Temple Pilots, and even do a Screaming Trees song. So yeah, I mean, it's fun, it's great.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, so there is an actual page on Facebook, right?
For steelkitty.com.
History of Canadian
History of Canadian Rock. Yeah.
People can look it up on Facebook and it's there, right?
Yes.
For anybody who's interested to find out more. I think it's great, you know, that you're doing that. I think it benefits up and coming performers as well as people who've been around for a while, right?
It's education. You know, that's my thing. I mean, I live and breathe it.
Yeah.
Music. So that interests me in it. Here, I'm going to do this. But there are a couple other sites that, you know, are very well put together. on the history of Canadian
Right.
rock. Now, when I say rock, it's like from the beginning, um, all the way up to like 1989. That's where we stop it, because that's kind of, you have to stop it somewhere in history.
Right.
The end of the 80s, right? So that's where it ends. Bands like Harum Scarum from, where are they from? Ajax, Oshawa area. Great success.
So in that history of rock, do you talk about like if you predict, say Alice Cooper, for instance, do you talk about when they got started or how it got started?
No. I only brought up Alice Cooper because the band Zon opened up for them.
Okay.
I think,
But
if
I
my
mean,
memory is correct.
right. But my question being is, do you delve into when whatever it is, a performer or a band got started, or
Everything from the original lineup to, just Black Sabbath recorded an album in Toronto. So I have a post on that too. Just everything I can think of, just like, it's just silly. But it's, I don't know. I mean, if you're interested, it's people that are on the page constantly.
Mhm.
So I got to know Darby Mills from our page, and from the Headpins, and
Right.
it just, everybody that had an intricate, like a part of the growth, and to me, it's important.
Yeah. Well, I think it is too. I always listen to CBC radio mostly at night, and I'm trying to remember his name. He used to play music, but he always talked about, like, let's just say he brought up Brian Adams, when you talk about,
Mhm.
oh, I was at his con. This man, you know him, if I could think of his name. He was in a very popular Canadian band, but he talks about, before he plays a song, he talks about how that song maybe it came about, or
Yeah, we have that too. It's like,
yeah,
what's the song about? What's the meaning? Like the Burton Cummings, I'm scared. What's it all about? To
yeah.
me, that's fascinating. It's like, wow, like he basically, you
Yes,
know,
yeah. I was so disappointed
he
when
said
they
it.
took that off the CBC. It was just wonderful information, right? To people that I would have just seen on TV or heard about, and then all of a sudden he's telling me all
You
this
know,
history about them.
it's all about this, right? Canadian. I was born in Winnipeg, so my father played for the Blue Bombers.
Okay.
It's just real, like, diehard hockey. Started playing hockey when I was 6. So all
Mm.
that, just true red-blooded Canadian, all that, it's just, so, you know,
When did you start performing?
touring, playing.
Oh,
My first show, I was about 17 at Larry's Hideaway,
okay.
downtown Toronto. Um, Toured Canada twice, um, Buffalo, certain parts of the States.
Yeah.
This is back late 80s, 90s. That's when things were really, we focus on the bars like the Gasworks and Rock and Roll Heaven,
Mm.
and Larry's Hideaway. Those 3 bars were, that it was just, everyone went there, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So, you know, the page is growing. I mean, there's just, you post something on there and it just like
Right.
explodes. Yeah, no, so it just covers everything, like literally everything that's like.
Right. So what was it about drums, which I love, by the way? I do love the
Okay,
drums.
how did I start?
Yeah.
We're from Winnipeg. I went back there to visit, and my godfather, his son, he was about 10, had a drum. He goes, come on, come see my drum set. And then he started playing. He played along to Diana Ross.
Okay.
Okay. And I want that. When you just know. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
So that's how I started. I was 10. So, I stuck it out. I'm still doing it.
It's
Yeah.
it's the sticking it out.
Rock and
Because a
roll.
lot of people, especially when you're young,
But I love it.
yeah. A lot of kids start stuff
Well,
young, right? But they don't always stick to it.
they don't follow through.
Mm.
My parents didn't mind the drums. Right. So I would just, I would practice songs that were above my level. Rush, Neil Peart. I would John Bonham, Led Zeppelin, really complicated Emerson, Lake and Palmer, just a lot of progressive rock things with different time signatures.
Right.
So I trained jazz, trained jazz drummer, fusion, mainly predominantly fusion. Bands like Weather Report, Spiral Gyra. So my drum teacher said, you can do rock and roll later, but learn this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Right. Learn the jazz, and then you're, you have that. Rock is this 4/4 time. I mean, jazz is just a different ball game.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Buddy
know.
Rich.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh my gosh, of course. You're also a booking agent as well. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm just sort of jumping in.
Oh no. I think you're crossing. Anita and I have a booking agency. We've been doing it for about 6 years. It's called Anita Gig. Anita Gig.
Right.
Okay. So it's catchy.
Yeah.
Hamilton based. Our roster is about maybe 80, 90 bands. We just book them in venues. Now we have a contract with, it was the Unique Restaurant Group. They rebranded, changed the name. So yeah, we work for them. And we do all their special events. I take care of like PA systems and building stages and things like that. Anita does all the bookings. She doesn't go near the spreadsheets.
Right.
So, it's a one-person job doing the bookings, but I take care of yesterday I went down and built a stage because we have different events going to Yuck Yucks, solos, duos, full band. We're slowly getting equipment in there.
Right.
So that's important.
Yeah.
It's just kind of what do you need if you want to become a booking agent? Okay, what tools do you need? One thing, experience, like going out. I've done it.
Yeah.
And you just, I mean, after I don't know, 40, feels my age, 40 years. And, touring is, I was in the UK last year on a 3-week tour with a band.
Okay.
And England, Scotland, slightly different, just a different vibe on the music scene there. So people won't get on the phone with me because I talk their face off. So I network. I've networked myself.
Yeah.
Everything. And all the clicks and all the bands and who's way up there. So, Teenage Head and Honeymoon Suite, and, we do special events of, a lot of stuff like that. So it's just kind of hush hush, but we're doing bigger and better things with that. So that's our main focus is that it's called Be Social Hospitality.
Okay.
Now.
Yeah.
And they own, 8, 9 restaurant / music venues. So we do all of the cancellations. Right now we just got somebody filled in a cancellation date for tonight. So it can be tricky.
Yeah. Right.
But if you have access, if you've networked yourself properly and you have access to every single You know, it's like I'll call somebody. Who do I call to book Prism, Street Art? Um, you know, and somebody, I make a couple calls. So, oh, you got to call their booking agent. And, you know, so I mean, it's just everything. You know, it's just that it's every day's different and interesting things. We're putting on a festival of cover bands next summer, so we're already starting to prepare for that. So,
Right.
you know, I mean, it's just we do everything from find a location, but you know, I think we're doing it in one of our parking lots, which is, you know, can hold about, you know, a couple of thousand people. But so organizing a festival, I mean, it's something that we learned how to do. And, you know, I mean, you bounce off people, you get shadow people. They've been doing it, you know, they're very successful at it. And then, you know, next thing you know, you're having a meeting with them. It's like, okay, do you want to join forces to book for this large theater? And, you know, it just all kinds of just, it's everything. It's a nutty business. I mean, it's, you know,
Yeah.
it's crazy. But if you know what you're doing, I'm not saying, okay, because I learn every day. I'm just saying, but if you know how it works
Mm-hmm.
and how to be successful, the artists, for the artists too. It's
Yeah. Well, you're looking at both sides of it, right? You have the knowledge
have to
an artist.
because I
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
So I'm on the fence and I'm looking at the venue and then I'm looking at the artist.
Right.
So you have to find a happy medium. Okay, well, you know, they want to pay increases. Okay, well, you know, it could be where's a good fit? What kind of bands do you place in the powerhouse, Dickens and Burlington, Southcote? We did all our outdoor special events in Ancaster, and so it's just so much. There's a lot. It's
Right.
amazing and fun, just so much fun. Um, I shadowed a lot of, you know, 30 years ago, and you know, I still have those connections from 1987. I used to work at Warner Music,
Right.
and you know, from there is, you know, one of the first jobs I got right out of high school. So back then, you know, so
Very good.
yeah, so it's yeah, it's up and up. Um, you know, why don't we try this? That doesn't work, but you know, option B, option C, option D. I mean,
Yeah.
and then you get it, and then it just become yeah. But I'd say that the trickiest part is the last minute cancellations. You know, but I have a list, and I just boom, 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 call them. Can you play some? You know, sometimes I call people at 5 o'clock for, you know, they have to load in at 8 o'clock. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, um, it's hit and miss, 50-50. Sometimes we get lucky. No, everyone's booked. You know, obviously it's 5 o'clock. But, you know, the more networking you do, get to know everybody,
Mm-hmm.
just be, you know, just
Yeah. It's like the same for
be
me.
very,
Yeah. I have people that cancel last minute or for some reason don't log in, and I have to, you know, I'm sitting here thinking, well, can I get somebody else to fill in? And sometimes I'm
yeah,
lucky, you know, right?
yeah, it's just knowing what you're doing. I don't know everything, but after a while, you kind of get to know
Yeah.
how this works and who to. The most important thing is networking,
Right.
and you know, just hi, we've never met, but you're a big band, and we'd like to find out your rate. See what you know. We want to place you at one of our events. It's just you know, yeah, Greg Godovitz and from Gatto. That's another. That's a history of. I can't remember the name of his prior. Was it
Performers want,
Slut?
yeah.
I can't remember. I think it's Slut. But so Greg Godovitz, Gatto, the band Gatto. Now, to me, they're everything. You know, So Canadian rock, I have a vested interest in it. It's important. It's like anything historical on Canada, like
Yeah, yeah.
bobsledding, where did that come from? I mean, curling, Saskatchewan.
There's an interesting, it's an interesting history of
like-
music, right?
That's what I do. Right?
Very good. Yeah.
I have an interest in. That's what Google's for, right? But that's my thing.
Cool. Well, we're going to end that right there
Okay.
because Zoom's going to give us
That's
give
great.
me notice any minute anyway. But
Nancy?
just stay on camera. Just stay on camera. So we just want to let everybody know you've been listening to Brian Fogel. He is on Facebook, and and you can also find History of Canadian Rock on Facebook as well. So if you're interested, look it up, and you can't help but be proud, when you see that vibrant, that beautiful history of music that Canada has to offer. So check it out, everybody. So in the meantime, take care and be nice.
God bless.
Peace
Thank
out,
you.
everyone. Peace out.
Thank you very much.
A sense of community till the wax a place to be. A sense of community when you're free. Rolling through the mountains, rolling through the valley, rolling through paradise with me. It's multicultural, you're sure to see it all. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see. Come party in the park, go dancing after dark. Chilliwack's the place to be, you'll see.